Yeah, shame me in the comments, please. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be continuing my series of series talking about the series that I am currently in the middle of. Alright, before I get to anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments if you keep track. How many series are you in the middle of? Alrighty, so as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the second video in my series of series. I'll put a link to the prior one talking about the series I have finished or DNF'd in the last 2 years up in the cards. And also, as I mentioned, this one we're going to be talking about the series I'm in the middle of, which is a fair amount. I will separate this into the ones that I am up to date with, meaning I am waiting for a new book to be released, as well as the books that I am in the middle of and I just need to keep reading. This is a lot smaller than it was at the beginning of the year. I've been doing pretty well and I'm very proud of myself. I'm gonna keep reiterating that because I feel like if I keep saying it, hopefully that will reinforce that I need to stay on top of series. I feel like everybody on booktube knows how hard it is to do that, especially when you try and prioritize books for videos. It's really difficult to just like binge a series. You know, sometimes a series intrigues you enough, drags you in enough to make you do it. I'll definitely have a few of those in here. So let's start with the series I currently have ongoing. The ones where the only reason I haven't finished this series is because I haven't picked the book up. Starting at the top is the Practical Magic series by Alice Hoffman. Technically, I have read 1 and 0.5, I guess, of this series. I did attempt to start into 0, which was Magic Lessons. I didn't get very far in. It was very historical and I was not in the mood for that at the time. Then there is a sequel also off of Practical Magic. I need to pick up both of those. I'm still 70 pages into Magic Lessons. It's literally just sitting on my nightstand. Yeah, shame me in the comments, please. Next up is The X-Hex by Erin Sterling, which there's only one book in this series that I haven't read. What's it called? The Kiss Curse, I believe is what it's called. I do want to read it. I actually have a video plan for this one. That's kind of the main reason I haven't gotten around to it, is because that video probably will not be getting made for like another year. So hopefully this will get read in 2024, hopefully. Then the first manga series I'm currently in the middle of, Soul Eater by 𝗖cie his𝘁_𝗰𝘁. At this moment, I am currently on volume 7 of 25. Honestly, the biggest thing holding me back from continuing this series is money, because that's a lot of volumes and these are like 10 bucks a pop, brand new. I've been raiding Pango occasionally to try and find them for cheaper. I did get a few through a Goodwill. This is kind of like gonna be a treasure hunt to try and find these for better prices, but I am really enjoying this series. Thankfully, it's not one I have to constantly stay on top of, seeing as how it's a manga version of my favorite anime and I've watched the anime many a times. Anytime I just randomly pick it up, I do know what's happening in the story. I know where I am. There are slight changes to the story thus far, but for the time being, it's still pretty true to what I've seen in the anime. Next up, I have read the first book in the Nemesis series by April Daniels. The first book is Dreadnought. The second is currently out. I do want to get to it because I thought the first book was very entertaining. It is a story about a young trans girl who ends up getting superpowers and she ends up taking on the mantle of this world's favorite superhero. I am planning to get around to the second, but it is a little on my priority list because the second came out in like 2017, and while a third has been announced, as far as I can find, there hasn't really been a lot of updates on it. So next manga I am currently in the middle of, which at this moment I am on volume 7 as well. That's ironic. Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. Currently, I believe 11 volumes have been published. A 12th is announced to come out in January. I have been staying on top of this one mostly because I checked out a bunch of them from my library. I've been loving this series, and because I checked those out from my library, I was actually able to binge through this pretty quickly. Another one where I have watched the anime. I literally just hit the point where the first season of the anime ends. Second season has only just started airing. So now the plot of the manga is starting to be stuff that I don't know, meaning I do need to be better about staying on top of it. Next is, shockingly, the only romance series I'm currently in the middle. That's not true. Next is a romance series, The Wright Brothers by Christina C. Jones. I have read the first 2 books and I need to get to the third one. I believe there's like, I don't know if it's a short story or just like a little bonus extra holiday one afterwards. Probably will read that as well if I can get my hands on it because I've really been enjoying this series. The first one, so freaking good. Second, I was really loving until one of my least favorite tropes popped up at the end. I have heard that the third is the best in the series, so I'm very excited to get to it. Oh, next on my list is one that I am still completely unsure if I'm going to read. Tita Rosie's Kitchen Mysteries by 𝗖cieः/𝗁. I liked the first one. The second one was enjoyable. The third one was fine. And even people I know who like the series said that the fourth was not great. So I really don't know if I'm gonna pick up this fourth book. I think it's the last in the series. The completionist in me kind of wants me to do it just so I can say I finished the series. This might be one of those where like I happen to pick it up to fulfill a prompt for something maybe. I can listen to the audiobooks really fast. They don't require a lot of attention. I highly doubt it'll be above a 3-star. Next up is the third book in the Bright Falls series by Ashley Herring Blake. Third one being 𝗖cie Kelly Doesn't Date. I'm currently on the wait list for this book from my library, so I hopefully will be reading it here soon, and that will finish out the series. I did really enjoy the first 2 books, and I'm very excited for this third one as the main character in the third, Iris, has been my favorite friend of the group. Next is one that will be coming out here shortly from when I am filming this. I think it has been released by the time this video comes out. Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. While I didn't love Legends and Lattes, I did enjoy it, and I am intrigued by the world and the main character Viv, so I'll check out the prequel. Gonna get that one from my library. I am on the waitlist for the audiobook, so hopefully they will be buying that and then I can listen to it. At the time of filming this, I'm up to date on this series. By the time this video comes out, I'll be in the middle of it. And then finally is the Murderbot series by Martha Wells, which I have been greatly enjoying. I currently am on the 6th book, another one where the 7th book will be coming out around the time of this video. Hopefully I will be catching up. I do think 2 more books have been announced in this series. I don't know if this will stop at 9 or if it'll keep on going. For the time being, I would not complain about it keeping on going, but I guess it depends on like what Wells ends up doing with the next 2 books. 3 books. That's right, I can count. So that is it for the series that I'm currently in the middle of. As for the series that I am currently in the middle of and up to date on, let's start out with Dark as the Night by Rowan Altwood and Kelly York. Currently, I have read the first 3 books and 2 novellas. I thought that the 3rd book was going to be the last one in the series, but turns out the authors actually have plans for 2 more books in this series, which I cannot wait for, because creepy historical mysteries with queer romances, like all of those genres together just hit so many buzzwords for me. I've been having a great time with this series. I adore all the characters we've met. I don't know where it's going to go, and unfortunately, there haven't been any updates since COVID, because I think that's what threw them off their writing game, but I can't wait for this series to continue. So after that is the Between Earth and Sky series by Rebecca Rowanhorse. The 3rd book, Mirrored Heavens, recently had the cover announced, and it is very beautiful. I am really excited to close out this trilogy because I loved the first book. I just recently had a reading vlog out for that, so I'll put a link to that in the cards. The second did suffer from middle book syndrome, but I am so intrigued for the 3rd. I cannot wait to see how this series is going to close out. Unfortunately, the 3rd book does not release until June, so I still have some waiting to do. Then next up is the Love and Other Disasters series by Anita Kelly. The 3rd book has been announced. How to Get the Girl, I believe is what it's called. It will be a sapphic romance. It comes out literally the day before Valentine's Day. I'm very hopeful I can get an arc of this. It sounds very cute. I enjoyed the 1st book in this series, but I loved the 2nd book, Something Wild and Wonderful, and I cannot wait for the 3rd one. I'm very excited. Also, one that I was very surprised is apparently becoming a series, Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. If you're not following them, maybe you weren't aware, but yeah, Aiden Thomas is writing a sequel. No clue where that's gonna go, but I'm gonna pick it up because I adored Julian in the 1st book. He is such a cutie and I want more of him. One that I actually, fun fact, was not originally planning to continue was the Lake Witch trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones. I read the 1st book, My Heart is a Chainsaw. It was weird. It was kind of enjoyable, but I wasn't the biggest fan and I didn't really plan to continue reading it. But when I saw the 2nd book listed on NetGalley with a musical reference title and Stephen Graham Jones, I automatically requested it, not knowing it was a sequel, which turned out well because thankfully I had already read the 1st book and I actually really enjoyed Don't Fear the Reaper. I've been thinking back on that book a lot in all of October. I am going to read the 3rd book. I have no idea how it's gonna go, but I'm really interested to see what Jones does to close out the series to finish out Jade's story. It comes out in March and I cannot wait. Then one that unfortunately it's very much a hurry up and wait because no official announcement for when the next 2 books will drop has happened. The 𝗖cie für𝘁 series by Penny Reed. This is a spin-off series from the 3rd book in the Winston Brothers series, and I did really enjoy the first 2. It is following Cletus and Jen as they investigate different crimes in their town and also take new steps in their relationship. The first one was focused on them getting engaged, the second one was focused on them getting married, the third one is supposed to be focused on them buying a house, I think, and then the fourth is having a baby. Covers have been released, but we have no idea when these books will be published, and that makes me so sad. Another series I'm not really sure if I will be continuing is the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, which does bring me pain because I loved the original trilogy. I really enjoyed Box in the Woods. The latest book, 9 Liars, was a huge letdown to me. The cliffhanger that it ended on, I really don't want to watch that continue to unfold. I love so many of the other characters in the series. Stevie has come to be a really enjoyable investigator to follow, and I love Nate. I really like Janelle and Vi, but the relationship and interpersonal drama in this friend group has been driving me insane. This is one I'm gonna play by ear. It depends on if the next mystery will hook me in. One that is at the top of my list for the next few months, and I'm sure is at the top of everybody else's, the Letters of Enchantment series by Rebecca Ross. Ruthless Vows comes out on Christmas Day, I believe. I know I am not alone in dying for that book to get in my hands. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Another one that unfortunately does not currently have a official publishing date is Alecto the Ninth, the 4th book in the Locked Tomb quartet. Guys, I loved the series. This is the series I was thinking about when it came to binging. Even though I didn't quite binge, but like I actually was so engaged in it that I did stay on top of it for the next few months. I cannot wait to get to Alecto. I probably will need to reread the 3 prior books because this series is very confusing. I need a publishing date. Please, Tamsin Muir, please. Next is the 4th book in Stephen Fry's Great Mythology series, which is, I think, the Odyssey. I'm pretty sure that's what the 4th book is going to be focused on. Stephen Fry retelling the Odyssey, which I cannot wait for. Stephen Fry just reading me these stories is like so enjoyable. How do you not love his voice? That one comes out in October. Finally, the last one that I am currently up to date on, 𝗖cie by C.S. Pacat. This one does have actual novels which are published, but I think I've come to the decision that I'm not going to read the novels because these are YA contemporary stories. And while I still enjoy YA thrillers, YA horror, YA fantasy, contemporaries just very rarely do anything for me. So I think reading them in the shorter graphic novel format works so much better, and I think I'll just stick with those. At this moment, I am caught up for the 5 volumes that have been published. A 6th one is supposed to be being released in January, I think. Fingers crossed, my library will get it, or it will be released on Scribd. One way or another, I am very excited to continue the series. They're just so easy, so sweet, so fun. All right, that is way more than I was expecting. So when I am filming this, I currently have 10 series ongoing where I just need to pick up the next book, and I am up to date on 11 series. That's a fair amount. That is both more and less than I was anticipating. I feel like I'm waiting on so many to be continued. I'm still in the middle of a good few. Like I mentioned, I'm sort of at the mercy of library holds for the time being on 3 of these. All right, y'all, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me linked in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!